Going into a cave is like leaving your home planet behind.
In many cases, it's a little bit overwhelming. You enter this other world, this underground subterranean world of darkness and dripping water and strange and unique animals.
Mammoth Cave National Park contains the longest known cave in the world.
We're at about 405 miles, but that number is continually changing. One day in the future, the cave could add several hundred more miles, maybe even one day being 1,000 miles in length.
Lots of pretty formations here.
There's plenty for visitors to see underground, but it's still just a small fraction of what exists.
If you took every cave tour we offer throughout the course of a year, you could probably see anywhere from about 12 to 15 miles.
The cave is the result of water interacting with limestone. Some parts are very wet and actively developing, such as this section near frozen Niagara.
Slowly, one drop at a time, the minerals of calcite are left behind. As far as what a visitor coming to Mammoth Cave can see, this is probably some of the better dripstone formations right here.
The snowball room looks completely different. Water is not seeping through here nearly as much. It's a good spot, though, to get a sense of how underground rivers carve the passages, a process that is still ongoing, many levels farther below the surface.
Very slow-moving underground rivers that over millions of years have been dissolving away the limestone. And in this part of the cave especially, you really get that sense because of the rounded, tube-shaped passageways.
Say hey.
While 2016 is the centennial for the National Park Service, it's the 200th anniversary of guided tours into Mammoth Cave.
To think that for 2 centuries, visitors have been coming here, going into the cave with a guide, is a tradition that all of us are very proud of here.
Evidence still exists from those early days when most of the guides were African American slaves.
Visitors and guides and explorers were allowed to write their name back in those days. But it's just amazing to look at these signatures on the wall and know that that's where that exact person stood and left their mark, and you're right there.
If you visit the park, don't just look down. With the Green River and many miles of hiking trails, there's an abundance of things to see and do at the surface. This part of Kentucky is lush forest, and the park contains 70 miles of trails to access that land.
We like to say at Mammoth Cave, it's like we have the best of both worlds.
All of the water flowing through the cave eventually gets to the Green River through springs. There are no bridges over the river in the park, but an old-time ferry still carries vehicles from one side to the other.
It's a cable ferry. I think it operates on a diesel engine, and so it still remains one of the things that people come to see at Mammoth Cave.
Mammoth Cave is on the bucket list for many people, and visiting is an experience typically handed down from generation to generation.
We do see where a lot of people come back to Mammoth Cave who came here first as a child, and they bring their kids back, and then they bring their grandkids back.